this is problem 3-2 that I've changed it just a bit from the book. If you've got my notes there, did I change the actual typing on that, or does it say molecules? It says molecules. Okay, change it to moles, because I'd rather have you start thinking moles and moles. Okay, so if we look at this, we've got to decide, when you see the writing like this, how many oxygen moles react with, well, label stuff. That's the unknown, even though they mention it first. Then they're saying, we have 47 moles of methane. What I like to do is write the stuff about the problem above the very stuff they're talking about. So we just deal with those two things. We don't care about this and we don't care about that. So let's just set it up. I know you can probably do it in your heads, but let's say the numbers are nastier than these. Okay, moles, and they want to know moles of unknown. Let's go through the mechanical approach. So, in our first set of parentheses, since I know we're going to end up with moles of O2, I just need 2 sets of parentheses. If I wanted to go on to grams of O2, then I got to use 3. Okay, so in my first set of parentheses here, what do I put? Sarah, what do I put in this first set?
47 moles.
Yeah, 47 moles. And it's really good to label, because canceling things out, you can't indiscriminately cancel moles with any old thing. So we have 47 moles of methane, and I'm going to put that over 1 to keep numerators and denominators straight. Okay, next, I need the mole ratio here. Antonio, what will it be?
2 molecules of oxygen over 1 molecule of methane.
Okay, or let's say mole, but you're fine. 2 moles of O2 over 1 mole of methane. Notice, methane cancels. Important point, you don't indiscriminately cancel any old moles. You've got to be the same moles. Okay, and you just take 2 times that, and what, Russell, what are we going to get?
52, huh?
52?
94. 94.
Do you believe, Pedro?
Yeah, 94.
Okay, 94, we just double it. Okay, everybody okay on that first one? Okay, onward. But one thing though, if you don't like my system, this kind, you could reason it through. Whatever number of moles of methane or molecules, it's going to take twice as many of the oxygen, just because the coefficient's there. But I've got it set up real mechanical, so we put in moles of the known, mole ratio, boom, we got it. Let's look at the next one. Okay. This is 3,3 is what I want. They're using the very same equation. On 3,3, they just changed the numbers. Okay, how many moles of water? Boom. That means this is my unknown. And we want to know moles of water. Yeah, I could ask you grams of water, but it's asking you moles of water. Could be produced by the reaction of 3.5 moles of methane. And notice, magic word, we have excess oxygen, which means don't worry, there's enough oxygen to go around. So you're going to ignore it. When it says excess something, ignore it. Okay, so here's our known, just like before. But what has changed is who the unknown is. The previous problem, this was our known and this was our unknown. But remember, in a weight-weight, you can take any 2 things. So now it's 1 reactant and 1 product. It can be any combination. Okay, so, since we're still going moles to moles, the simplest type. What goes in my first set of parentheses here? 3.5 moles of methane. Put that over 1 if you want to be real safe. Marco, what's my mole ratio this time?
2 to 1.
2 to 1. And it's 2 moles of water over 1 mole of methane. And I know my students hate to write all this junk because it's a waste of time. But on the test, when you're anxious, anxiety costs you 10%, is the rough guide. You got this, and you go, wow, canceled, I must have set up the mole ratio correctly, because this seems to give people trouble when they're anxious and uptight, is sometimes they get that inverted. But if you'll carry this along, and if they don't cancel, if it should come out moles squared of methane, wouldn't you be a little alarmed? So if you'll carry your units, and they don't cancel, you've screwed up. So probably with inverting that. So, what are we getting here, Pedro? How many? 3.5 times 2, and you grabbed a calculator? See, when you're anxious by being called on, you need it. But it is? 7. Okay, if we were thinking 6, these are absolute numbers. If you're thinking 6, Pedro, you would say?
7 moles of H2O.
Well, you got your units. Okay. 7.0 for 2.6. Okay, let me say this again. This is what dictates your 6. These mole ratios, absolute number. And so they are not going to dictate. We know it's 2 to 1. Okay, are we all right on that one? All right, onward and upward.